Hello, welcome. I'm Nikki Williams, Quality Manager at WAES, and thank you for watching these series of clips all around Ofsted and the changes that have happened into the framework. We decided to do these as videos, so it's nice and easy for you all, and you can all attend and watch these in your own time rather than us doing briefings around the different campuses. So we're going to get started. So what we're going to have a look at today is the overview of changes to the Common Inspection Framework from September 2015. So today's topics, we're going to have a look at the background to the changes to inspection, the changes to the Common Inspection Framework, otherwise known as the CIF, changes to the inspection methodology. We're going to have a look at the new area of personal development, behaviour and welfare, and look at what can we all do to prepare for inspection. So background changes to the inspection itself. The principles of the inspection reform. So to ensure that we inspect the right things well in a cost-effective way, and these are Ofsted words. Provide comparable and accurate information for parents, carers, learners and employers to inform their choices. We need to trigger timely improvement action before standards slip too far. Be rigorous of quality to be of value and credible to the profession and to the public. We also need to be proportionate with sufficient emphasis on underperforming or declining providers, both to ensure maximum impact, value for money, and to prevent good providers expending time and energy on unnecessary inspection preparation. So that is why Ofsted have made these changes. So what is actually changing? There's a new Common Inspection Framework, and this covers the early years, schools, non-association independent schools, and FE and skills, which is where WAES sits in the FE and skills sector. New range of inspection methodologies, and there is also new safeguarding guidance. So you'll see on the next slide there's a quick overview of the reforms, and you can see where the different areas fit into that on this lovely diagram. Okay, so what changes are happening to the CIF itself? So the judgments, the key judgments have slightly changed. We have a new one. So the 4 key judgments that we'll be judged upon and graded against are number 1, the effectiveness of leadership and management, the quality of teaching, learning and assessment. The new one is personal development, behaviour and welfare, and then also outcomes for learners. So we'll get a grade for each of those 4 key judgments. Also, they will state clearly whether safeguarding is effective across the service. In addition, inspectors will make an overarching judgment on the overall effectiveness, and that will give us our overall grade, and we're hoping for it to be at least a 2. So, they're now inspecting types of provision. Previous inspections and common inspection frameworks, they used to look at sector areas and they're bringing sector subject specialists. Now what's happening is they're going to follow funding streams, okay, which they've classed as types of provision. So 5 out of the 6 possible types of provision that you can see on your screen there in front of you, we will actually be graded against because we offer 5 of those. The only one that we don't offer is the full-time provision for 14 to 16-year-olds. So when they're looking at the effectiveness of leadership and management, there'll be an increased emphasis on the impact of leaders' work in developing and sustaining an ambitious culture and vision. Looking at tackling mediocrity, robust performance management and safeguarding arrangements that protect learners, making sure that they meet the statutory requirements and they promote their welfare, and that all staff help to prevent radicalisation and extremism. And you will be seeing some training being published around that as well that you can participate in. Moving on to the next key judgment of teaching, learning and assessment, there will be an increased emphasis on the importance of developing learners' knowledge, understanding skills in all types of provision, and also to prepare them for their next step, an assessment in all of its forms. There will not be any grading of lesson observations, and you will see this reflected in our OTL policy, okay, so that's Observation of Teaching and Learning Policy here at WAES. We will always get a grade overall for teaching, learning and assessment as a centre, okay, but individual sessions will no longer be graded. Then we move on to the new section. So this is personal development, behaviour and welfare. So what is it looking at? There's a key focus on how well learners develop to become successful in their learning and how well they're prepared for their next steps. It will also look at how well learners develop self-confidence and self-awareness and how to be successful learners. It will also look at how they can keep themselves safe from all forms of risk and how well learners understand their career options and how well are they actually prepared for their next steps. There's also responsible engagement, for example in work placements and as active citizens. So following on, the behaviour section of this is going to have an emphasis on developing the appropriate attitudes and behaviours for the workplace. Also behaviours that show respect and tolerance for others, so this will incorporate a lot of our equality and diversity work that we do, and also conduct and self-discipline. The welfare section of this looks at physical and emotional well-being, staying safe online and safe from all forms of bullying. So moving on to the outcome key judgments. So the key message in outcomes is that inspectors will give most weight to learners' progress. So they will look at the learner's starting points in terms of their prior attainment when evaluating how much progress they've made. So where have they travelled from point A to point B? Within that, they will also give most weight to the progress of learners currently at the provider. Okay, so whenever they come in for their inspection, it will be looking at the current learners, so in 15-16, the ones that we have now on the books. They will also consider the progress achievements and the destinations of all groups of learners across all types of provision. The destinations is something that we're going to capture a lot more closely in your course evaluation forms, and we're currently rewriting those, and they will be disseminated shortly. And that will capture the destination information hopefully a lot better, and we can run some data and stats on it. Okay, so moving on to the next section, changes to inspection methodology. So there's main types of inspection. You've got a full inspection, a short inspection, support and challenge visits, re-inspection monitoring visits, and also survey visits. As we were graded a grade 2 in 2011, we're hoping for the short inspection, and hopefully it will stay at a short inspection. So this is a very busy slide, but just to give you an idea of how inspection will happen now, because I won't be looking at subject areas as such, and they will potentially go into all different types of subject areas, but they're doing it by the provision type. Okay, so remember earlier on that links back into the funding streams. So you'll see from this diagram you'll have a provision type lead inspector. They will talk to a link manager, and they may have different inspectors helping them out doing those inspections within those particular areas. So the new short inspection, this is the one that we're hoping to get. It's targeting providers previously graded 2 for overall effectiveness. Normally held every 3 years from September 2015, and we are due an inspection. It will most likely happen this year. It may be brought forwards following a risk assessment, normally just over 2 days, and it will be with 1 or more inspectors. We could still have a whole team of inspectors coming in. And that team will comprise of HMI and or Ofsted inspectors, now called OIs. They used to be called AIs, additional inspectors. There's a slight change there. Inspections focus on key lines of inquiry and not the full SIF. So they will have a look at our centre, they'll look at our data, they'll look at our SAR and our QIP. They will look at a few other pieces of information as well. From that, they will write some key lines of inquiry. They will then come into WAES to see if we are still meeting what we're saying we are. Okay, so lines of inquiries, these could be questions such as, is the provider sustaining good quality? Are safeguarding arrangements adequate? Are there any major changes to quality since the last inspection? Are previous areas for improvement being addressed? Okay, so that shows you the importance of our QIPs. We really need to be making sure they're written accurately and that the whole team is following them. And also, do we have new initiatives that have been implemented appropriately and where needed? So following a short inspection, there are 3 potential outcomes that could happen. One is that they say, yes, we remain good, and that's lovely, and we'll get a letter. So we won't get a full report because it's just a short inspection, but we'll get a letter of confirmation with our grade as a 2. The other option is that, yes, we are still good, but we could be outstanding. In that case, it will convert into a full inspection to try and look and see if there's enough evidence to actually change that grade into a 1. Or it could be no. So if they come in on that short inspection, there's not enough evidence there, and they feel that maybe we're not a 2 anymore, that could also convert into a full inspection. So preparing for inspection, what can we do to make sure we're ready? What we need to do when you're preparing, you need to, in your team meetings, think about how can you as individuals and you within your department, how can you prepare for Ofsted? Have you got everything that you need? Have you got all your session plans, your schemes of work? Have you got your group profiles ready? Are they all accurate and up to date? Do you know your learners? And what are you doing within the classroom? Obviously we'll be doing learner walks and observation processes as well to help to support you with that, and also to identify any areas that you can improve. We'll also be working with our advanced learning practitioners, so they're there to help you to improve teaching. But please, if you have any questions about any of this, because it is a whistle-stop tour of the key changes to the Ofsted Common Inspection Framework, please feel free to email myself, my details are up on the screen in front of you, or speak to your line manager, because they have also had this briefing in slightly more detail. So if you do have any questions, please let us know, and other than that, happy teaching.